Okay, so let's talk about the Xbox news. So the initiative has been closed or is going to be closed. Perfect Dark and there's another game called Everwild, which actually looked kind of interesting. Both of these games are dead in the water, basically. It's another pretty much abject failure from Xbox in terms of management and the whole scope, basically. Um, where's Dom? They've really Xbox has really struggled for many years now. Pretty much ever since the whole Don Matrick thing with Xbox One, and that didn't go down very well. And obviously, Phil Spencer did say this is the worst generation to have lost, essentially. And it just hasn't gotten any better for them. Uh, there's pros and cons to this, so let's start with the pros, I guess. Obviously, Game Pass has been an interesting thing. It's been very, very popular. I've used it substantially. It's saved me a lot of money, and it's cool that everything goes to actually comes to the platform straight away if you've got Game Pass. And the idea of having Gears on PS5 and anything Xbox is I like the idea of it. So although I'm gonna go to the cons of this in a minute, like I actually have some, I'm quite happy with it to some degree. Being able to play anywhere with your friends and family and on anything, it's cool. It is a really big pro. Um, and they've had some interesting games, not great games, mind you. They've had a few that have been quite oh god. Oh, get behind there quick, quick, go, go, go. Duck, duck, duck. They've had quite a few interesting games out there, but nothing that's set the world alight, I guess you could say. So let's move on to the cons, I guess. And a lot of the cons, and unfortunately, I think the cons are going to outweigh the pros in this situation. One, lack of brand exclusives, so that's not really going to help your situation. And also the fact that people don't really buy games on Xbox. It's become very much. I hate this mechanic where you've got to light stuff up. It's beyond irritating. Um, they've so because they don't have brand exclusives, you've got no reason to buy an Xbox. This It's pointless. There's just no reason to buy one. It's And because of that, they have and they don't have any brand exclusive games anymore. Everything is multi-platform, which, as I've just said, is actually in some ways a positive, but not so much in other ways. I think the cons outweigh the pros. Sadly, they've also said, "Oh, we're going to announce there's a next generation Xbox come out." I'm like, what's the point? What is the point in a next generation Xbox when you've got no brand exclusives or anything? Oh my god, Dom, you're such a moron. Oh, is there a way of turning the AI partner off in this game? Because he's utterly useless. Anyway, um, so yeah, why would you buy an Xbox when who's shooting him? When there's no brand exclusives. I mean, most games are multi-platform, so there is that argument to be made, I suppose. But it still doesn't make any sense. Why you would even buy? Why would you buy a next generation Xbox? It doesn't make any sense. The exclusives is where they make the money from. And if you look back at like the 360 generation and stuff, like they used to make amazingly good games, but that's just not the case anymore. They haven't had a game that's made really any cultural or when you think of games on PlayStation, and I'm not a big fan of like God of War or The Last of Us, if I'm honest. I don't mind them, but they're not games I'd think, oh, these are amazing. But they do have a cultural sort of reputation. You look at it and you know what it is. You know what platform it's on. It's on a PlayStation. But I can't think of anything on anything on Xbox, sorry, that is really that relevant anymore. It's sad. This will be coming to PlayStation. Is it August or next couple of months? I believe it is. Oh man, I'm out of ammo here. Dom, use your head. Um, yeah. What's the point? Uh, we are looking at another Sega situation with Xbox. Obviously, the difference is they're not out of money per se, but in terms of uh, as in a brand company, in terms of what they've got to produce, they've got a few games which are all basically coming to PlayStation, PC, hell even Nintendo for some of the games. So there's there's very little reason to get an Xbox. Um, the leaders, Phil Spencer and all the guys, they've they've completely lost the any goodwill they've had. It's just dead. I I do think a company like Xbox they need to do something real fast. But I don't think it's there's anything they can do. I think they've put themselves into this situation where all they can do now is just go with what they've got, which is Game Pass. And in the short term, it's been a it has been a benefit to them, but in the long term, now you're seeing things like games not coming out on. Oh, that's all dark there. Shit. Oh, that's the thing. You're seeing everything go exclusive. So there's no reason to buy an Xbox. And I don't really want that to be the case, but that is the situation Microsoft finds themselves in. And I got to say Xbox, not Microsoft. But they've put themselves in this situation. The management has been shockingly bad. Um, I just don't understand uh, Microsoft's business. Well, Xbox, not Microsoft. Xbox's philosophy. But the problem is, Xbox aren't making the decisions. This is the thing. It's Microsoft that are making those decisions. They're the ones making the decisions, not Xbox. And I think that is very much relevant at this point. Um, and that's why this company's in the situation that it's in. It's just sad. It really is sad to have a company in such decline so fast. Um, I don't think there's anything Xbox can really do. I don't think they can pivot at this point. They're too far in with this ecosystem they've got. Um, and that moves us on to the whole thing about Microsoft. I keep saying Microsoft and not Xbox, but Microsoft are making those decisions, not Xbox. That's obvious at this point. So what happens next for them is going to be they can transition to like because I think what will happen ultimately is that Xbox will be absorbed into Microsoft gaming. That is the real issue. Microsoft are not liked. They are hated. If someone said to a PC gamer tomorrow, by the way, we've got a new operating system, it doesn't use Microsoft, they'd jump at the chance because that's what they want. They don't want a Microsoft operating system. Windows is hated royally by just about everybody. Um, and so if you think about it, Microsoft's only hold, and I don't say this with any form of hatred towards Microsoft, but it's just the fact that their programs are buggy, they don't work a lot of the time, they crash, they lock up. There are so many issues that are never addressed and very rarely fixed. The power mode for Windows when I put my computer to sleep, doesn't matter what setting I set it to, the computer wakes itself up within a couple of minutes, even without me touching anything. Um, so there's that, but I guess that's a completely different, separate issue. That's just a Windows issue in general. But they've not, the decisions they're making are decisions based on survival at this point. Um, I don't want a massively dominant PlayStation because we know what will happen in that situation. You'll have, as I've said, your PS2 to PS2 to PS3. PS3 was what, $600? And the same thing with Xbox 360 to Xbox One. Nobody wants to see that. No one. But you have a Sega situation where they're going to make hardware that nobody is going to buy. Because if you look at the sales between Xbox and PlayStation, Xbox is what? 30 million, I think, something like that, are Series consoles, Series X and Series S. Whereas PS5 is what? 80 plus million? And by the time it's done, it will probably even a lot higher than that. So it doesn't make any sense to buy an Xbox for that situation. Okay, got to keep the light on him. So it's very much a bizarre situation to find yourself in, but this is the decisions they've made, and they're essentially trying to survive. And they might do, but I just don't see what the future is for Xbox. That just to me, I don't think there is a future for them. I think they'll become like Steam, a third-party company, and that will be it basically. Um, I don't know what else you can really say. It's very very sad, but I do hope that somebody. Oh, for the love of God, Dom, you're such a useless twat. Bollocks. Um, yeah, it's sad. It's very, very sad. I'm looking forward to Gears uh, E-Day, which is set. Oh, bollocks of hell, bollocks of arse. Which is set before this, which is kind of cool. I like the idea of that. That's cool as hell. But um, yeah, man, like, I, what do you do? What happens in this situation for Xbox? There's a lot of people that have an Xbox, they've bought into it for generations, and they've got nothing really to show for it now because if there is another system, it's going to sell less and less. PlayStation is going to become more and more dominant. I mean, who's going to come in to take Xbox's place? Apple? Christ, the console will be about 300 grand. I think the only play I can see here is going to be, obviously, as I've said, the absorption of Xbox into Microsoft gaming, which nobody wants. And then the other thing is the whole handheld gaming. Now we know the Xbox has got a ROG X Ally coming out, which is predominantly for um, oh hello, for Xbox, which is kind of cool. It's a cool idea, and it could be somewhat successful. Could micro or Xbox go in the vein of like the Switch? Someone's revived up. Could it go like the Switch maybe? I guess it's a possibility. Go 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 go. That could work, I suppose, but it's a very much a bizarre situation for Xbox to find itself in. Okay, we need to run to that. Go 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 go. I hate this mechanic of lighting and shite. But it's a very, very bizarre situation to find themselves in. As a, what was that? As a company, I just don't know. Oh, hello. What happens to Xbox? Oh, he did. For once, the AI is working with me, not against me. Don't tell me Dom's dead now. Where is he? But I don't know what else to say about it, really. Um, I hope Xbox figures something out, but I think it's already too late. I think you'll have a dominant PlayStation, but even they're going to have issues because, especially with Steam, if Steam's operating system becomes something that is chosen by gamers, that means that Microsoft have essentially got an operating system, and that's about it. Um, so I don't know. I really don't know where this is going to go. I hope maybe Xbox need new leadership, but as I said, I just think it's too late. I think they've burned all the bridges that they had. I mean, if you look at the countless companies they've had that produced fantastic games over the years, one of my favorites is Rare, and they haven't produced anything really other than maybe Sea of Thieves, and it's not really my bag personally. But I just can't think of much that they've produced that's personally for me of any interest to me. But I get that some people do like it. Go 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 go. Um, so I would probably say, obviously, also, oh you idiot! I'd also say that give me strength. I would also say that your physical games on Xbox don't really exist anymore either. Although, in their defense, like Doom: The Dark Ages on PS5, there's nothing on the disc, so that's why I tend to collect the older stuff because I just prefer physical media with the information on the disc, so that they can't then take it away when they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, the servers aren't running anymore." So there's so many variables with this. So I guess just cross your fingers and hope Xbox pivot and sort their situation out because it's dire, to be honest. Um, Maybe I don't know what I'm going to put this video as. It clickbait says Gears is doomed because Gears Xbox is doomed. Um, but there is some truth to that. So I don't know, but I guess we can cross our fingers and hope that things get better, but I don't think this is a decision that they can really sort out. I think it's just they've made that decision. Now they've got to deal with it. This is Sega all over again.